Well, you have various things you have to consider. You have to have an inclination of your magazine. Lots of new newspapers in France have been launched, and they suffered from that, and they suffered from a lack of inclination. You have to be present for your magazine. Now in France, and I think elsewhere in the world, you can't launch a new magazine if there are no journalists that can defend this. That means be present in festivals, be present with the readers, try to create a link with the readers. That's a very important thing. And then you have to adapt to a new economical environment. There are multiple factors of crisis, especially in France: crisis of distribution, crisis of printing, crisis of the sales, and you have to try to be different. Try to be different from what other newspapers are selling, but also different from what you can find on the internet. The internet lets you find for free, almost free, pictures, texts, and coverage of the hot news. So that's something you can do. It's you have to make something different. So you have to create objects with nice paper, nice illustrations, something that the readers will want to keep with them. And you also have to create a different way of handling the news, and try to stay away from the hot news, and try to create a different way with a deeper understanding of the news. Something that the readers will want to keep with them. And you also have to create a different way of handling the news, and try to stay away from the hot news, and try to create a different way with a deeper understanding of the news.
And talking about that differentiation, how have you consolidated both Le and America as reliable news outlets? And in a way, how did you think you have got people's trust?
Well, we try to have people's trust with great articles by great writers for America, for example, or great scholars, experts in their fields in Le 1. And we also managed to get the attention of readers by selling these two publications in different locations, newsstands, of course, but also bookstores where the bookstores are much more solid in France than the newsstands, and so we'll try to also be present in these environments.
And as an entrepreneur, how do you think journalism should reinvent itself?
Should
Reinvent.
should reinvent itself. Yes, of course. Well, the medias have to reinvent themselves. Otherwise, we won't be able to survive. That means try to create a new model with subscribers mostly, because in 10 years' time, paper will still exist, but the places where you will be able to buy paper magazines or paper weeklies are going to be less and less. Um, there are going to be less and less, and there will be only maybe stations, airports, or great big newsstands. So you have to invent a new model on this, and you have also reinvent yourself, as I was saying, by staying away from hot news, and try to stay away from. I mean, when you want to understand something about climate, you don't ask weathermen about that. You ask experts of climate change, and that's the way you can be trustworthy for the readers.
And finally, how do you see journalism in 5 years? And do you think that journalism is really in crisis as it is perceived?
Well, it is in crisis. It is in financial crisis, but it's not in crisis in the way that people don't care about the news anymore. I mean, there are still readers who care about the news. There are still a huge public for information, for quality information, but it's all the financial model that was taking place before, of huge markets for newspapers. That has changed. It has changed in a way that you can still survive if you have now a powerful website, for example. That's where you can, if you have a powerful website, have enough subscribers to cover lots of fields. That's the case for the New York Times in the US, or Le Monde in France. Otherwise, you have also a different model. It's more a niche model, and Le 1 and America are more niche magazines or newspapers, where you have fewer readers, but they are willing to pay for information, and so you can have an economic form, an economic model where you can be profitable.